think it's not often that I come to court, but I'm delighted that I'm coming to court on other issues other than facing corruption charges. I just want to respond to the issues on media freedom and press freedom. The freedom of press is very, very important, and especially to me because, as you all know, I was once a practicing journalist, and as you all know, I was once minister in charge of information and communication in this country. And we must not give any institution, whether it's the legislature or the executive or the judiciary, Kenyans must be very vigilant, and the media must be very, very vigilant that we don't give any room that the media can be gagged. Because the media is what gives oxygen to any fight for human rights. Even the judiciary itself, when they are under pressure from the executive, I've seen the media jump on the side of the judiciary. And when any part of the country, when the downtrodden are being exploited, it is the media which can air these matters and which can bring light to what is going on. So I take exception to any suggestion by anyone, be it the judiciary, be it the executive, be it the legislature, which will try to tamper with the issue of media freedom and press freedom. I was Minister for Communication, and I was put on the spot several times, and negative stories were written about me. But I defended the right of the media and of the press to disagree with me and not to write necessarily what I think is they should be writing. If the media is only going to write what we like, then it stops being the press, it becomes a public relations arm for some. Indeed, there's been a lot of negative reportage about my case before the whole truth has started to emerge. And those who are now complaining, be it the bank or the judiciary, they never came to my aid. And I did not fight the media. I just said the truth will come out one day, and I accepted every blow aimed at me. Sometimes the media got it right, sometimes the media got it wrong, but we must protect the right of the press, the right of the media to report, and that includes the social media, which has democratized the media space in this country. Having said that, I mean, in the case here today, what was being addressed, it was really not my case. It was a case between the judiciary and the Supreme Court judges. I did put my case to the Judicial Service Commission in April last year. That's almost 1 year. It was 11 months ago. And during that period, I never divulged the details of what was in those petitions because I didn't want to scandalize any of our Supreme Court judges. I do respect the judiciary, I do respect our Supreme Court judges, but where I felt that there was some misconduct, I reported it using the right channels, and I shut up. I've only talked when members of the Supreme Court decided by themselves to bring this thing into the public domain, in which case I have a right of reply. But only question I would like to request very, very politely and very respectfully of the Chief Justice is that the case today is stopping the Judicial Service Commission from looking at a case like my case. And often we hear from the Supreme Court and from the Chief Justice that if any Kenyan, any of us have got a complaint about a judge, you take it to the Judicial Service Commission. Now that the Judicial Service Commission cannot function because they have this case against the Judicial Service Commission, it is a domestic fight between themselves. I just need a bit of guidance as to where do I go with the current complaints that I have, and where do the other Kenyans go with the current complaints that they have. Last but not least, muliona majuzi kama kuna Mkenya mmoja bwana Kabira akaenda kujichoma kule Supreme Court. When people become so desperate that they go to burn themselves, and the Supreme Court and the judiciary don't seem to care about it, then you can imagine what is happening to the rest of Kenyans. At least me, I can come, the media can hear what I have to say, they can hear my side of the story, but there are thousands upon thousands of Kenyans who are in depression, some are committing suicide, some have died because of frustrations in their court cases, their properties have been taken by Mikoras, and they have absolutely nowhere to go. Of course, like in the case of the gentleman who tried to burn himself, he dosed himself in paraffin and set himself ablaze. I've reached out to them to see what help I can give in terms of legal support. But I want to appeal to all Kenyans, don't give up. We are going to fight this kind of injustice. Thank you very much. Any questions?